The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon and welcome once again to another edition of Service Matters. This is a weekly radio show that talks about the good things that are happening in local communities and beyond. We also like to talk about the good things that people do to make a difference in a town or city, and in some cases make dreams real for some folks out there that may very well be in need. You're listening to WPRO, the voice of Southern New England. You can hear us on AM 630 or FM 99.7. We are indeed a cumulus station. I'm Dave Clifton, happy to be your host. Had lots of fun doing this show for the past 15 years, talking about good things that happen. And the world's gotten a little crazy, folks, so we want to try to spend as much time as we can talking about good things and patting people on the back for the good things that they do. Today is no different. Our show, Service Matters, is going to talk about the service that some of our legislators are involved in and how important they are in terms of working with towns and cities to come out with some of the good formulas. My guest today is Ted Phillips. He's from the 8th Norfolk District. He covers Sharon and Stoughton and Walpole. Did I miss anybody?
Just one more precinct in Mansfield.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Ted Phillips, thank you so much for joining us here on WPRO.
Thank you so much for having me back, Dave. It's great to be with you.
He's not a first-time participant in this show. I'd like to give a shout-out and hats off to ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, and our guest will be Sharon Community Television because they're going to hear this show as well. But our listening audience scattered throughout Southern New England, this is a show that we want to make sure that you hear because we're going to talk about good things that are happening. And Edward R. Phillips is his name. I've always called him Ted. And Ted, of course, grew up in the town of Sharon, where I used to work for 40 years. I saw him grow up. I saw him work for the former state representative, Lou Kafka. And, of course, you learned the ropes. You learned how to run the show, and here you are with that position. Your parents got to be very proud of you, Ted.
They are pretty proud. I'm very lucky to come from such a great family. My parents are still with us, so they're amazing people over there in Sharon. And I think it's worth mentioning that before I worked for my predecessor, State Representative Lou Kafka, I got my start off at the Sharon Rec Department, working for a pretty incredible director over there named Dave Clifton. So I had a lot of help along the way, but my first job with the Sharon Rec Department was certainly part of that foundation. And so I give a lot of credit to you for helping bring me up in that system and in that community as well.
Well, thank you very much, Ted. And I know that when I take a look at some of the young people, when they work for me with their summer jobs, it's truly amazing to see where some of them landed. One happens to be a congressman.
Yeah.
I'm talking about William R. Keating. And I've had a couple that have served as chief of police. It's truly amazing. Someone got stopped at a beach one time because they didn't have their sticker. And the comment was made when he came up to my office. He said that the stupid gate guards stopped me. And I said, well, first of all, the gate guards aren't stupid. One goes to MIT and two go to Harvard.
Yeah.
And some of them are in Ivy League schools. So they're pretty smart and intelligent. But I wasn't able to say at the time that one's going to be a congressman
Yeah, it's funny how that worked out. I mean, it's one of those things where working on the shores of Lake Maspug and Sharon, we have a pretty impressive alumni group where they've all gone on to some pretty impressive things. But yeah, Congressman Keating is definitely near or at the top of that list, especially in my book.
He was such a popular guy that everybody would like to go to the gate and just speak to him. He tied up the traffic. But I did want to ask you, Ted, this is your second term as a state representative out of the 8th Norfolk District, and we're happy to be doing this show at the Easton studio, and of course they're in Bristol County.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your second term that you've served as state representative. What is it like being a representative? What was it like your first day on the job? The fact that you worked at the State House probably made things pretty easy.
Yeah, so as you said, Dave, I am finishing up my second term, but before I was a state legislator, before I was a state rep, I worked for my predecessor, a guy by the name of Lou Kafka. He was the state representative from Sharon for 30 years. And I had the privilege of working for Lou for 15 of those 30. And so I had what I would consider to be a leg up in my training. I had a lot of opportunities to be around the job itself, to learn from Lou, to watch him in the role. And so when it came time to swear in, and after I got myself elected, I was very fortunate to be able to sort of hit the ground running, right? It was more of a plug and play type of atmosphere than it was, trying to figure things out as you go. That was obviously part of what I campaigned on, but like I said, it was very fortunate for me, and I was able to then help a lot of my newer colleagues that didn't have experience in the building, in the State House, be able to navigate it a little bit better. So I've been acting. I've been able to act as a bit of a Sherpa for some of my friends and colleagues in the legislature, and it's something that I enjoy very much.
Isn't it interesting when you see what's going on around the world? And I remember my early days working in parks and recreation, trying to teach the importance of respect.
Yeah.
And people should be able to get along with each other and to compromise, and to pat people on the back and to thank people. And I'm not going to get into the politics on this show because this is supposed to be a positive show anyways. And I'm not going to get into who's running against who. But I know we've had sponsors involved in this radio show that have hung on for many years. And why? Because they like the idea of it being a positive show. That we talk about the good things. If someone were to call in and have something bad to say, I have a red button to push, and they're off the air, but I always thank them for calling. And I just point that out because I am concerned about the young people and my grandchildren and future kids growing up, making sure that they have the right perspective and understand the importance of doing good things.
That's a very good point, Dave. And one of the things that I'm very proud about is the fact that on Beacon Hill, more so than I think in Washington, a lot of times we see a lot more negative news coming out of our nation's capital. But when it comes to getting things done on Beacon Hill, we actually have a pretty good functioning democracy, here in Massachusetts that I'm very proud of. Some of the colleagues that I work the closest with are Republicans, and I'm a Democrat. But the fact of the matter is that we get a lot of stuff done for the people of Massachusetts up on Beacon Hill, and we do it by working with our friends across the aisle in order to, come up with the best policies possible. Sometimes we're not going to, we don't agree on everything. And there are some times where bills will get passed on what's called a party line vote, where the Democrats will vote one way and the Republicans will vote the other. We also have a lot of bills, a lot of major bills that pass on Beacon Hill unanimously or close to unanimously, where there's maybe just a few dissenters, but the majority of both parties will be voting, in favor of these reforms.
That's terrific. As a matter of fact, I think that legislators need to know that there's got to be a sense of continuity, communication, cooperation, respect for each other, because that makes a healthy decision.
Absolutely.
You could have some people opposed to things, but agreeing, I should say, to disagree is certainly important. And that's the way my life has been. Not everybody agreed with everything I might have recommended, but there was a compromise, and there was a thank you for providing your contribution, not talking about money, but a contribution in terms of conversation to make the right kind of decision. You've had a good upbringing. When I think about your family and, of course, your younger siblings, the fact is that your mother and father, with good faith and understanding, did a super job, Ted, with you and your brothers.
Well,
no doubt about it.
Thank you.
And I know that as we go through this show called Service Matters, we've had all different kinds of people joining us, thousands and thousands of guests. If you can just imagine, every week for 15 years. Sometimes we've had 4 guests, sometimes we've had 3. The most I've had on the air is 17 at the same time.
That's wild.
And that's a time when I couldn't spend 5 minutes introducing myself. I had to save that time.
Yeah.
The fact is that the world is made up of so many different personalities. And I used to pass that message over to the young people that work for me, to the volunteers that gave their time, their talent, their energy, and their ideas to pass over to others so that they can enjoy life. And I think that has been something that I'm so happy when I run into people, parents who grew up under the umbrella of a recreation department, who now have their own families. And they always remember that second grade basketball program or
Absolutely.
Participating in arts and crafts or doing different kinds of activities that filled their leisure time.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, the importance of a strong rec department, is certainly not lost on me, not just because it was my first place of employment, but again, because that's where you make a lot of memories. Before we had started recording, I was telling you the story of, I will never forget, some of the times playing, rec baseball when I was in the 4th grade, and, even learning how to dribble a basketball from Mr. Dave Clifton when we used to put on the John Philip Sousa marches, and then we would run up and down the court, learning how to dribble, how to bounce pass, how to chest pass, and then finishing with a layup and coming right back. Those are all like fundamental things, but again, they're very, very fond memories that stick with you and quite frankly last a lifetime. And so as an elected official, one of the things that I'm so proud of is being a strong supporter of recreation programs in the Commonwealth, always looking to partner with my friends in the Massachusetts Recreation and Parks Association in Massachusetts to make them stronger, and find different ways that we can continue to help families make memories and build that community, because again, recreation is such an important part of what makes a community an actual community. It brings families together, because these days, and I don't know if you would agree, but at least in my experience, you don't see the sort of the cohesive neighborhoods that you used to, where you would go out and play. You may not be out on the streets playing stickball or playing baseball in the or soccer or whatever, you pick your sport, that doesn't happen as much. And so you get that almost exclusively from a rec department or a rec program. And so it's so important to make sure that these things are thriving for people to participate in and come, and, you know, parents have an opportunity to talk to each other while their kids are playing and foster that stronger sense of community.
I always remember myself, Ted, as a youngster shoveling snow so that we could use a court to shoot hoops in the cold weather. And today, in most communities, they have a brand new gymnasium with heat. They don't have to shovel. They can put on sneakers and shorts and do their thing. So it's something that I guess we learn. Different generations do things different ways. And all I can say is that the most impressive thing about Ted Phillips, who turned out to be a state representative here in the Massachusetts area, the Bay State, he was a people person growing up. He was a people person when he went to college. He attended Suffolk University. That's my understanding.
I got my master's at Suffolk. I actually went to UMass undergrad.
UMass,
yep.
And then on to Suffolk. But I think the impressive thing about you is that you served on town committees. I remember you being on the finance committee.
I was, yeah, for about 14 years before I became state representative, and that was actually invaluable in terms of being able to learn about municipal budgets, how different departments were creating their budgets and spending their time and resources, so that when I got to the next level, to the state representative, having that understanding was really, really important.
We're going to take a short break. I'm Dave Clifton, happy to host Service Matters. This is a show that is considered the voice of Southern New England. Hurry back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, residents of Easton, friends and neighbors. This is Bill Ames,
co-host with Priscilla Almquist Olson of the Film Connection.
On ECAT now for over 20 years. We're very proud of that.
And we like to interview guests from Easton who have been involved in the film business.
Actors, producers. We're very fortunate today to have a producer of a film.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys...
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to pull him out of the trunk, for crying out loud.
It's been a long day.
Also, make sure to check out the Radiocast, our accompanying podcast where we talk about what we've watched.
There was a lot of moments of just Mac on the raft going down the river, just internal monologuing over and over and over.
We show the classics and nothing but the classics. Well, except for the weird ones. Check us out on all our channels as well as our YouTube.
Yeah. This is the life. Just relaxing by the beach. What could be better than this?
I've got an idea.
What?
I'd really like to find a forever home.
Forever home?
Yeah. Like Jack Ryan talks about on Easton News. A forever home. All those animals at the APCSM, they get forever homes. Why not us?
Listen, man, I hate to tell you this.
Tell me what? Come on, tell me. Look, I can take it. Look at me. Come on, tell me. I can take it. Come on.
We're not real.
What are you talking about? Of course we're real. Look at us. We're sitting here on the beach, on vacation, being served raw meat, mind you. We're having a great time. How are we not real? No, thank you. I'm good. I've had enough. I've had enough. Thank you. What are you talking about? Of course we're real.
Look, it's not that we're not real. We're just not living, breathing animals. You don't even have a mouth, dude.
Well, oh yeah? Well, your eyes are just plastic.
Right back at you.
You've ruined my vacation. I can't believe you've done this.
I mean, while we're at it, why do we need a vacation? It's not like you have a job.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. All right. You know what? I'm out of here.
Cubby, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Oh, well, you have to get it eventually.
If you'd like to get your hands on a cubby of your own, scan the QR code on your screen now.
Welcome back to Service Matters. I'm Dave Clifton. My guest here today is Edward R. Phillips. And of course, R stands for Ryan, but people in his hometown know him as Ted Phillips. And Ted, you get a lot of important committees that have popular bills that have to be decided on. Any particular ones that you enjoyed supporting the most?
Absolutely. So I've been very, very privileged. This session, I serve as the vice chair of the House Committee on Human Resources and Employee Engagement. And while that sounds like a bit of an inside baseball committee, it sort of is a more of an inside the building rather than policy committee. One of the things that is responsible for is we run Student Government Day every single year for high school students throughout the Commonwealth to come in and participate in their government. We hold a mock session of the House, the Senate, and even the Supreme Court. And kids have an opportunity, or students, young men and women have an opportunity to come in, fill the roles of every different type of state government official.
Terrific.
From elected, all the way from governor on down to state rep, have an opportunity to participate in the process and hopefully give them a taste of what it's like in our jobs. We also run the internship program, which is fantastic. We have hundreds of interns, both at the high school and college levels, that come in every single year and work in both House and Senate offices to get some of that firsthand experience, learn what it's like to be policymakers, participate in doing some of the very basic stuff, the blocking and tackling of government, which is, research and, drafting legislation and things like that. Other committees that I'm on is the Joint Committee on Economic Development and Emerging Technologies. That is, we currently have an economic development bill that is still under consideration by the legislature. We weren't able to reach an agreement on it by the end of our formal sessions, which is why the Speaker and the Senate President have said that when those negotiations do conclude, we will be called in for a special session this fall. And I'm excited about that because there's a lot of great investments in different industries in Massachusetts, keeping us things like keeping us number one in fields like biotech and the health sciences. I think that's going to go a long way for keeping Massachusetts a very attractive place to both live and work. I'm also on the Joint Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government. And finally, the Joint Committee on Veterans and Federal Affairs. And Veterans and Federal Affairs is great because that's actually chaired by one of Easton's state representatives, Jerry Cassidy. We're unfortunately losing Jerry because he's retiring after years and years of public service. Jerry was a staffer just like I was. He actually worked for the late, great Senator Tom Kennedy, who was just an incredible human being that we got to learn a lot from before he passed some years ago.
He was wheelchair bound, I think.
He was, yeah. And Jerry was his body man for many, many years. And so when I was working for Rep. Kafka and Jerry was working for Tom Kennedy, we'd see each other quite often. So now I have the privilege to serve on a committee that he chaired, and he did a great thing this year. We got the HEROES Act passed, which was a lot of reforms for our veterans in the Commonwealth that will see an increase they are now eligible for increases in benefits. One of the things that we pride ourselves here in Massachusetts on is that we are one of the best states, if not the best state, to be a veteran in terms of the benefits that you are entitled to, state benefits, not just federal benefits, but state benefits when you come home from whatever branch that you served in. And so Jerry was able to get that over the goal line this year and onto the governor's desk, where she signed it into law earlier this year. And we're all really, really very proud of the work that he did. And I was very proud to be a committee member in support of that.
Well, it's amazing. And I'd like to certainly congratulate Carol Doherty, who was recently reelected. She ran unopposed.
Yep.
She is running for office, covering, she's from Taunton, Mass.
Yes, she is.
And she certainly covers the town that we're in right now, Easton, Massachusetts. Congratulations to William Driscoll. He ran for the office that was held by Timilty.
Yep.
For a number of years as state senator. I understand that William Driscoll was a former state rep.
Yeah, so William Driscoll, I know him as Bill. Bill Driscoll is he is the state rep from Milton currently, Milton and Randolph, and he has just successfully won his primary in order to on the path to becoming the next state senator. From the Norfolk, Bristol, and Plymouth district, which stretches all the way from Milton down to Bridgewater, but Easton is a part of that. And I know that Easton's going to be very well served by Bill. He was our chair of the Joint Committee on Emergency Management and Preparedness. He has a background in emergency management, and he was one of the people who was on the front lines during the COVID crisis from a state standpoint in working with the administration in terms of trying to make sure that people were as safe as possible and could, he played a role in troubleshooting the vaccine rollout and things like that. He's done some really great things, and I'm really excited for the town of Easton to be able to have him as their incoming state senator. Carol Doherty has also been fantastic to work with. Carol is a former teacher, and she just has an incredible gravitas and thoughtfulness that I really can't say enough good things about her. And the way that she's just been an outstanding colleague that I've learned so much from. And
very articulate. I did want to ask you, Ted, because someone asked me the other day, what's happening with Walter Timilty, the former senator who served in the Sharon area.
He did.
And now he's in the Easton area, but where is he now?
So Senator Timilty has just won the primary, and to my knowledge, there is no general election opponent in November. So Senator Timilty will be the next Norfolk County Clerk of Courts. And so this is a position that was held for many, many years by his father. So he has had an opportunity. Senator Timilty has had an opportunity to see that job up close, to see there's nobody closer other than his wonderful mother who has seen that job and seen what it takes to do that job. So he is ready to hit the ground on day one, and the court system, the judicial system in Norfolk County will be very well served by having Walter Timilty take over. And the best part is they don't even have to change the name on the door.
And we certainly congratulate him for his years of service.
Absolutely.
As a state senator. Always had a smile on his face. And certainly he comes from a family very much involved in the political scene, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. The Timiltys are sort of a legendary political family, just up there, near the Kennedys in terms of length of service to the Commonwealth and number of family members who have been involved in public service to the Commonwealth. It's really an incredible tradition of service.
Is there anybody at the State House that you would like to say some positive things about that you have been impressed with? Or would you prefer not to because of the possibility of missing a name? But I'll leave that up to you.
It's funny you should mention that because I have been I feel very, very lucky. The people who have been elected to serve alongside me up on Beacon Hill, particularly in the House of Representatives, have really been, in my humble opinion, an incredible group of people. They come from all sorts of backgrounds, and all sorts of political traditions, and it would be tough to mention one, because I wouldn't want to leave out another. But I will say that I've been incredibly impressed. Our Ways and Means chair, a gentleman by the name of Aaron Michaelowitz, who's the rep from the North End, has done what I would consider to be a really impressive job in terms of guiding us through some rocky economic times. We've had some real ups and downs. We're on an economic roller coaster right now with our revenue projections, but he's been a very steady hand at the tiller. So we're very lucky to have him running our Ways and Means Committee.
Very appropriate that we talk about that on our show. We're going to take a second break. I'm Dave Clifton. My guest is Representative Ted Phillips. He lives in Sharon, Massachusetts, but he covers a lot of communities, and he's a guy that I said earlier is a people person. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Hey, are you a fan of history? If so, come for a adventure with me, your host Drew Daugherty, as we explore some of the most impactful events of all time. We talk about U.S. history. These events led up to the creation of the First Continental Congress. World history. The Allied forces consist of France, the United Kingdom, Russia, Japan, and Italy, and influential figures. The legacy of Martin Luther King is one of selflessness, and he never stopped believing in the equal and free America. You'll get my takes and opinions, so come along for an adventure on Drew's Venture History TV. Check us out between your recently scheduled programming as well as on YouTube. Thank you.
You want to get involved in an exciting race around historic North Easton? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm Abby Malafato.
And I'm...
Coming to you from 50 Oliver in North Easton, this is Easton News and
Don't have time to stay up and watch ECAT channels all day long, or miss your favorite show's time slot? Don't worry, ECAT has a YouTube channel that has all the programs that we show, so you don't have to miss any of the episodes or catch up on past episodes. Search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the only capital letters. The YouTube channel has playlists for every program, even some of the programs you can download a podcast version. We even stream live events through our channel. To stay up to date with ECAT programming, make sure you look up ECAT's YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get all the alerts for the new programming premiere, and change the alerts to all to make sure you receive all of them. Remember to search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the capital letters. So there's no reason to miss any of the ECAT programming. Enjoy.
Welcome back to another segment of Service Matters. I'm Dave Clifton. My guest is Representative Ted Phillips. And Ted, we're very proud of you in the role that you play in the State House as a state representative, a legislator who cares about people, no doubt about it. You grew up, and of course, now you're being able to communicate with other leaders and how important that is. I wanted to ask you, you have a lot of people you have to deal with. It seems that every function I go to, and many of them I've emceed, And there's Representative Ted Phillips out there in the audience shaking hands and doing what you can to support everybody. How do you find the time? How does your wife feel about you gone all these nights? It's more than just doing your job in the State House, but trying to accommodate everybody's needs and to go to all the functions. It's truly a full-time job.
It is definitely a full-time job. I consider myself incredibly lucky that I have a wonderful wife that understands the parameters of the job, actually, and I'm very proud to say that she is an Easton native. She grew up just down the street, over on Dean Street, just off of Bay Road. But she has been absolutely incredible. And so when we first met, I guess the good news is that she knew that this was a path that I was seriously considering, a path that I wanted to be on, to run for elected office. And so as a result, she was very understanding from the get-go that this was not a 9-to-5 job, and she's given me a wide berth to do that. And so I'm very, very grateful. It's very tough to do a job like this without having support from family at home. My campaign has always been a family operation. My mother, Carol, is the campaign treasurer. My father, Dave, is the campaign chairman. My wife, Bridget, is the one who's, always keeping me humble and keeping me, with my eyes on the goal. So, I'm incredibly lucky, that she is so understanding, but I guess that's probably, what an Easton upbringing will do for you is that, she's very, very humble herself and just a great person. So I'm very lucky.
Well, we certainly want you to tell your wife that we have a big time celebration coming up.
So I've heard.
The town of Easton is going to be celebrating its 300th anniversary. Can you imagine 300 years, 1725 to 2025? And I'm happy to be able to chair that committee with lots of volunteers. And the select board, of course, appointed 10 people to serve on that committee. And the committee has enlarged. We thank the volunteers. We thank the many sponsors who have donated to a year-round celebration. There'll be a major event taking place just about every month during the year. So remind your wife to bring the state representative from Sharon to come to the celebration and enjoy it, because we're opening the doors. The theme, Ted, happens to be bringing families and community together.
Excellent.
So it's very appropriate.
Yeah, this is a great time. This is going to be a great celebration for the town of Easton. One of the things that, because we live in Massachusetts and a lot of towns were incorporated in Revolutionary War times, we have the 250th anniversary of the country itself coming up in 2026. Easton is celebrating their 300th in 2025. Walpole is currently celebrating their 300th anniversary right now. Stoughton, I believe, is celebrating theirs in 2026 as well. And you and I had the good fortune of working on Sharon's 250th anniversary back in 2015. And so knowing all of the celebrations that we were able to participate in and all of the fun events that we had next door in the town of Sharon back almost a decade ago now.
2017.
Yeah, it's wild. But knowing all those celebrations, Easton's in for a real treat. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the residents here to be able to participate in all kinds of different activities. I think you told me there's going to be a bonfire. Those are always one of my favorite events that we do.
There's going to be a bonfire on October 11th. There's going to be a giant parade on July 12th.
Excellent.
On September 6th, there's going to be at Governor Ames' estate a big block party, inviting all the families in town to be there. There's going to be a gala at Stonehill College. We also are going to open up the year-round celebration with, we call it the kickoff event. That'll be at Stonehill as well. We have an art and cultural festival scheduled for April 26th. Langwater is going to have a family fun day, and that, of course, is on April 19th. I'm rattling these dates off without any paper, but
I'm impressed.
The fact is that it's a chance for the community to come together, and I say this, Representative Phillips, that the world's gotten a little crazy. It's time to celebrate, and that's what we're going to do in the town of Easton, beginning January 1st through December 31st. We're going to have about 130 banners hung throughout the community. There's going to be lawn signs. There'll be 300 of those. There's going to be an anniversary book. There's going to be a cookbook. There's going to be lots of things happening. Some of them are annual events that always happen each year, but they're going to be beefed up because it is the 300th anniversary. A lot of terrific cooperation and communication between all the town departments in Easton, and the committee's forever grateful for that. But I say to all the communities, whether you're in Connecticut, Massachusetts, or Rhode Island, get involved in a celebration. So thank you, Ted, for bringing it up. And I know that you and your wife and, of course, your whole family, we invite them to come over and enjoy the fun and the get-together. I'd like to give a quick pat on the back to our sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by Rotary District 7950. That district includes the entire state of Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, Cape Cod, the two islands, Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. And of course, their motto is service above self. Their mission is to do good in the community and to reach beyond to do good in the world. Ted, I remember you're an active member of the Lions Club in Sharon, and I have for many years been a Rotarian. And I remember in 2017, both Lions and Rotarians put together a year of diversity.
Yes, indeed.
And there's a rock in front of the Sharon New Town Hall that has Rotary and Lions on it. And of course, the town of Easton has one of the largest Lions Club in the area. And we see the good work they're doing, and they're going to be very much involved in Easton's 300th anniversary. What have you got to say about the Lions?
Well, you know, it's funny. The Rotarians' motto is service above self, and the Lions' motto is we serve. The fact of the matter is that, you know, we are, in my experience, wonderful partners, right? The Rotarians and the Lions, you know, no matter which one you're a part of, some people are even a part of both. You know, it's a really proud, long-standing tradition of service. And the people who I have gotten to know, both in the Sharon Lions Club, where I'm a member, and the Rotarians, who I've worked for many, many years in my career, Representative Kafka, former Representative Kafka, also a Rotarian. You know, it's really just the instilling that sense of service, right? Instilling that all of the people who want to give back and who want to make their community a better place and make their world a better place. And we're so lucky when people step up to do that. And so, you know, it's really just, it's a privilege to be a part of these organizations and to work so closely together. And again, there's friendly competition, but there's no, you know what I mean? When the rubber hits the road, we're there to help each other. You know, I can't tell you how many Rotary events that we've participated in. I can't tell you how many Rotarians have participated in our
It's
Lions
amazing. The magic word seems to be service.
Amen.
We're going to take another short break and come back for our final segment of Service Matters. Dave Clifton here along with Representative Ted Phillips. Hurry back.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of For the Love of Words. After a 3-year hiatus, join me, John Holgerson, and
Priscilla Almquist Olson.
As we interview poets and musicians, could you give the audience a little summary of your background as a child?
When I turned 7 or so, we were car bombed. That stuck out.
And have them share their love of words.
Sometimes I wonder, do you ever think of me?
A thin broth of moonlight caught in the trees spreads across the garden brush, so one side of every stick shimmers while the other sides melt into one another, a mass grave of cherry, pear, and pine.
For the Love of Words at 7 p.m. on Thursdays.
There's a storm.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist Olson, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Hello, welcome to Easton News. I'm Abby Kitchenham.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The annual town election is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Community events.
Be Inspired, Counseling Presents, a parent and child coping workshop centered around a new year and new beginnings.
And sports.
Pressure builds diamonds, so we live by that every day of practice, going into every game.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
for Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Welcome back to the final segment of Service Matters. Representative Ted Phillips, it's been an honor and a privilege to have someone who I saw grow up in the town of Sharon when I was a resident there, who participated in some of the town programs, and it's always been a very positive guy growing up. And I see your educational background, I see what you've turned out to be, a people's person. And I'm so impressed with you. And I say again, thank you to your parents for the super job that they have done with you and your brothers. What are your brothers doing these days?
Both of them are actually pursuing fairly successful careers in the finance industry. My middle brother, Alex, is working for a venture capital organization outfit, and my brother Steven works at Fidelity doing special projects in Boston. So they're both doing great things.
It's amazing. My daughter Cheryl was a senior VP at Fidelity. My son Scott works at Fidelity in the Franklin office. What a great place.
It is a massive organization, but it is a great place to work. I have a number of friends who work there, and none of them have had a bad word to say about it.
I wanted to ask you, Ted, for some final comments of something that you'd like to share with the audience. And they too, if they were on the air, would be congratulating you for a job well done. For two campaigns, been very successful, and I can see why.
Well, thanks, Dave. Like I said, I consider myself so fortunate to be able to do this job, to be able to have the support of my friends and neighbors, that they allow me to go and represent them on Beacon Hill and speak for them or in the legislature on their behalf. One of the things that, again, the show is called Service Matters. And so I just want to put the plug out there for all the people out there who are considering, different careers, whether it be in public service or around public service. Get involved, get involved in your community. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be running for office or things like that, but there are so many different areas of need in our cities and towns. in terms of local boards who just need voices, who need you to show up, who need you to express your opinion. And so I just want to encourage anybody who's thinking about it to pick up the phone or write an email, make that call to to your local town hall and say, hey, I'm interested. What's involved? What's involved in this? Because I think when you once you make that initial outreach, you realize it's actually not as much of a demand as it could be, and quite frankly, your community is better when you do step forward. We always say that there's three things that you can always donate to make your world better, and you alluded to it earlier. It's time, talent, and treasure. And so if you have time that you can come down and volunteer and work at the food pantry, that's wonderful. If you have talent, if there are things that you can see in your community where that the job that you do from 9 to 5 could benefit the community by giving some of that talent to your town, do that. And then sometimes you may be incredibly busy. You may have a lot of things going on, but you may be able to contribute some resources in the form of money to support these programs. So I would encourage everybody to just think about what they can contribute and hopefully do that, because that's how our world gets better. That's where service really does matter, and where we can all make some kind of a difference.
Well said, Representative Ted Phillips. You can feel good about doing good things. And it's very gratifying. Absolutely. It's very satisfying to be able to make a difference in a town, a city. And don't be afraid to step up. If you grow up, and I say this to young people, you grow up in a community and you've been able to utilize many of the services that are available, it's a great way to say thank you. To stop, take a look at what's going on in the town, and volunteer your time. Give back to others that people gave to you. And I think it's a great way to feel good about yourself. So I second your motion that we ought to do the best we can, certainly to help others. Ted Phillips, I thank you so much for joining me on this show today. We didn't need a script. We just chatted, talking about good things. And I feel good just about doing this radio show for so many years. We have a chance to pat lots of people on the back. Today, I have the opportunity to recognize and salute Edward R. Phillips, a state representative. And he's from the 8th Norfolk District. He covers a lot of communities, but you're the right person with the right job. There's no doubt about it. And I'm forever grateful to see how you have turned out, Ted Phillips.
Well, it's mutual, Dave. Thank you so much for having me on and for helping me get my start in public service.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. I'm Dave Clifton. I thank my guest, Ted Phillips, a state representative working out of the State House. But I'll tell you, folks, if there's a function going on in a community that he covers, he'll be at it. And if they can get my telephone line, I'll probably be emceeing it. The fact is, we do what we can, certainly, to help others. As I've said in all of my shows, and I end the show with Louis Armstrong's song called What a Wonderful World. What a wonderful world it is because of people like Representative Ted Phillips. I say to each and every one of you out there, go forth to serve, do it with a smile on your face. And if you're going to do something good to help someone out, certainly do it with the dignity that it deserves. Go New England Patriots, and thank you so much, Ted Phillips from Sharon, Massachusetts.
Hear, hear. Thanks, Dave.
Amen.